Welcome back to our CURiE Conversations. I'm Dr. Jessica Schuster. We are entering into our second year and are really excited to have Dr. Chang with us to review one of our most recent articles. Dr. Chang, would you introduce yourself and let us know about the title of your article?
Thanks so much, Jessica. My name is Leslie Chang. I'm currently an assistant professor in the Department of Radiation Oncology at the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis. And the article is titled Advancing Professionalism Through a Patient Safety and Quality Workshop in Radiation Oncology.
Wonderful. And Leslie, as we feel comfortable with first names, will let us start off with how did you manage to find and journey into radiation oncology?
Yes. So I think like many of us in the oncology field, I also had a family experience with a family member diagnosed with cancer, who got treatment, from multiple amazing oncologists. And that really motivated me to explore the field further. So in medical school, I was able to, view all the different specialties in oncology and kind of understand where I fit in. And certainly, I think I might be biased, but I think radiation oncology is the best. And it really melded my interests in having a great understanding of, cancer physiology and treatment paradigms, but also with treatments that we can do in both the curative and palliative settings. And so I think our field is certainly really exciting, and that there's a lot more to learn.
Fantastic. And yeah, I feel like that personal experience to connect you with the oncology practice is very common for people going through the field. And that leads us into what I found to be an extremely interesting article and valuable to all of us in the setting of we can all look and be introspective about our own professionalism. So, tell me a little bit about how this project developed, and what got you specifically interested in this particular project.
Yeah, so I initially got interested in quality and safety mostly because of, my own frustrations in clinical care as a resident going through a system, and wanting things to be improved or optimized. And I think, medical school prepares you for that, intellectual exercise of working up a patient, creating a treatment plan, but our delivery of healthcare is definitely more of an interdisciplinary clinical workflow systems level thinking that I think many of us don't have the background or training in. And I think especially for radiation oncology, we're very unique in that it's not just physicians and nurses delivering care, but we have physicists, dosimetrists, therapists, and they're all really important collaborators and individuals that we have to communicate with and have these workflows. And it can make it challenging in this environment of, daily treatment. And so I was really interested in these topics and I had sought some training in residency. I did this health systems training program. And I really wanted to apply this for the residency program so that other individuals could learn in a more interactive way. Because a lot of the way that we learn kind of health system science is through online modules or kind of more book-based learning. But I think we do best with a very practical problem and a project, that you can work through. And it's kind of the old medical school adage of, see one, do one, teach one. And that's really how this project came to be.
Well, that's fascinating. Yes, I think compliments to you to not just complain about a problem, but to seek a solution, and then be willing to share that solution kind of more broadly in a publication, I think is just an amazing accomplishment. So give us a little bit of a summary of kind of the methodology and the findings.
Yeah, so this is a workshop-based patient safety and quality improvement curriculum that we did in my residency training program in radiation oncology. So we actually simulated a QI project and then completed different kind of quality improvement tools, like creating a smart aim or identifying a measure. How do we describe the problem with diagramming? How do we describe the data that we receive using process mapping? And then we surveyed participants on their interest using a basic QI survey. And then we also created an in-training exam because a lot of the quality improvement information that we have can be tested on, in the physics ABR board and through the board certification process. And what we had found was that, when we compare before and after attending the workshop, participants had both increased knowledge and interest in pursuing PSQI projects or, patient safety quality improvement, and that also their in-training exam scores improved, demonstrating that it can also help for, board preparation.
Well, that's fascinating. Yeah, there's definitely more to our physicist than just kind of the measurement based, and the QA is more than just the beam, uh, but also the processes. And do you feel like that the modules were something that could be implemented more broadly, kind of outside your institution, or were there some concepts that arose during the workshop that you think would be kind of key highlights for kind of our other ACRO providers just doing their day-to-day jobs?
Yeah, I think that's a really important point. This was actually developed off of work that was previously done through the Armstrong Institute at Hopkins, which is kind of a patient safety quality improvement organization. And they were focused on trying to create a curriculum for residents. What they had found is that it's really important to work on a problem that, residents care about, that is applicable. So all of the program problems or quality improvement projects that they identified were applicable to the clinical care of the residents. So, for example, our kind of simulated project was in patients who needed adaptive treatment and they needed a repeat simulation. How do we improve the time from that second adapt
Hmm.
sim to their treatment? And that's a very different process at every department, depending on your equipment, people's expertise, or if you have different workflows. But I do think that that is a problem that many departments can have. So I think it's important when we're teaching the curriculum to hone in on things that can be, important to the residents so that they feel self-motivated and also understanding of the different components. Because when you go through like a PDSA cycle or a fishbone diagram, you have to be able to really clarify the questions and the different stakeholders that are involved. Like a stakeholder mapping is kind of one of the first steps. And so it has to be a problem that residents are kind of integral in and really can understand the bones of so that they can learn the different techniques we can use and kind of how to use data to show if a project is helpful or not. So I do think that those are kind of the takeaways that I got from running the program. It's that we can use the same quality improvement tools, but it really has to be focused on a problem or a question that is important to the residents.
Hmm. Now, that's very interesting. I think, whether you're trying to design something for residents or your staff in clinic, kind of in providing the person that sees the problem with some tools to then help them figure out the stakeholders so that there's a balance of the process. Yes, if I made it so that, the residents prepare all my notes, makes my life easier, but that is a shift. And so I think that that is hugely valuable kind of in the process format of, whether again, residency programs, but also empowering residents or staff to say, I hear that there's a problem, and I want to enable you with this process to help work through that. And particularly for residents, though, and for ABR, fellows as we enter into practice, there is a, attestation and or questioning about quality assurance programs and PQI style projects that you've participated in something. So, kind of these tools and workshops, I think are valuable. Uh, what what do you feel like are your next potential steps for this project? Is this now become an annual thing for your department?
Yeah, so I did do the project in residency, and then I, moved to take up this new position. So I am definitely working on kind of creating another iteration of this course, to work with the residents. And it's good that you mentioned, as an ABR fellow, this project was supported, through ABR and ABMS. And I think they are really interested in improving this type of education sooner because we are expected to be part of, if not leaders of quality improvement projects within our practice. And really, the goal is that, with this kind of experience and training, we can train our future physicians to use these skills, wherever they end up practicing. And I think that's one of the goals is to see how we can kind of capture this data longitudinally. Because something that you do, in your early years of residency, our goal is that this kind of experience stays with you so that, as you become faculty or an associate, in whatever practice setting you end up being in, you're still able to participate and kind of use those skills in the future to create solutions, for your clinic.
No, fantastic. Do you have any last kind of advice for our ACRO listeners or any last words of wisdom?
Just please feel free to reach out if you're interested in kind of learning more about this curriculum or adapting it. I'm always interested in kind of collaborating, and I think that just having more experience in PSQI can really help our field and really position us to be leaders in that, particularly with how complex and intricate the treatments that we're currently delivering are. And I want to thank ACRO for supporting us publishing this in CURiE, and always encouraging young faculty to work within ACRO and follow our interests.
Well, thank you for that. I only paid you a little bit. Just kidding. Um, well, thank you all for joining us for our CURiE Conversations, and we hope that you enjoyed this. And please feel free to go to the CURiE website and read the article in complete, and download and reach out to Leslie to learn more. I would suspect you actually probably will get at least a few interested folks. I know as the associate program director, I personally am looking forward to offline here chatting a little bit more and figuring out a way that another Midwest partner can help with working with the UW residents.